A lot of threat to, losing your net worth isn't always like the threat of the market. It's the silent inefficiencies of like inflation, like asset allocation, and so much more.
At today's inflation levels, people are losing tens of thousands of dollars in purchasing power.
By doing nothing.
By doing nothing.
Nothing. Just sitting there.
Just sitting there. And here's the thing. I try to help people really understand realities. Mm-hmm. And, everybody, when you're in the decision-making process, your first decision is always do nothing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't care what you're deciding on.
Right?
It's always do nothing.
Well, you're told that at such a young age, like take 10 breaths.
Yes.
Take a step back.
Yes.
Breathe 10 times really slow, excuse me.
Right. And the thing is everybody looks at risk from a unilateral standpoint, right? Mm-hmm. And what risk really is, it's a multitude of things. Mm-hmm. When you don't make a decision, it's called opportunity risk. Mm-hmm. You have basically lost out on an opportunity because you're indecisive. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people...
I'm the worst of that, man.
We're all guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. So when you start taking a look at what do I do, a lot of people want to think through too much instead of taking advice that's sound and there's structure behind it.
We're taking advice from someone who's thought about this for 30 years instead of like, it might be a lot for you to comprehend right now and try to pieces a puzzle into a picture. But like these people and financial advisors, certified financial planners, they've done this for 30 years. They already did the research. They already did the due diligence. And that's where it comes very important of like meeting the right person and trusting the right person.
Right.
Meeting someone with values and morals and with a reputation.
Well, but the thing is you can't take 30 years of experience and apply to what's happening today. We all can use history to help guide us to making sound decisions. And same thing with us. We all have experience here at SFM, but we want to take all of that experience to hone in on what it is the client really needs and help them understand what every decision, there's a cause and effect, right? And, I think it's no secret. I've done podcasts, on here before talking about sports. Vince Lombardi, one of his famous quotes, and, if you don't know who Vince Lombardi is, he was a legendary head coach for the Green Bay Packers. His fear makes cowards of us all.
Fears make cowards of us all.
Fear makes cowards of us all is the indecisiveness, to be afraid of something. And even in today's society, we still have trillions of dollars sitting in cash on the sidelines.
Yeah.
And again, cash has a purpose. And I think every client situation's much different. If you have plenty of assets that you'll never spend, then you don't have to take a lot of market risk. You can avoid a lot of the risks associated that you're fearful of. But when you start taking a look at opportunity risk or inflation risk, there's so many different types of risks that a client has to really weigh out on what it is we're trying to achieve, not only short-term but long-term.
Today's episode is brought to you by Security Financial Management.
Welcome back to Best Advice Podcast, guys. I'm your host, LoVgllio. Here as always with my man Dan LaForest. Back again, baby. It's been too long.
Yeah.
How are you, man?
It's been about 3 weeks?
Yeah, man.
But we've had
busy.
The Christmas holidays.
And we're back.
Yeah.
It feels I'm hurting a little bit being back. Like the whole Monday through Friday again.
I'm hurting from Christmas dinner and Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
But no, listen, it's good for everybody to spend time with family and reassess the year we just went through and start thinking about what we all want. Everybody talks about New Year's resolutions. What is that resolution that you feel like you can stick to?
Yeah.
And, I always take a look at it from a standpoint of what resolution am I going to create? Not today, but something that I'm going to evolve over the new year.
It's funny, resolutions when like they're unachievable. Like it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I'm going to lose 100 pounds this year. In the first 2 weeks, everyone's at the gym and it's like, this isn't obtainable. It's not going to work. I've only lost 3 in the first 2 weeks. I'm done.
I've been at the gym, but the bag of Doritos is out 3 days, but
the third cheeseburger over Christmas every night didn't help. Definitely not feeling great. Definitely not feeling great. Need to get back on our juice cleanse. I just need to cleanse.
Yeah. No, everything is cyclical, and including our diets and everything else. But
well, let's get into the question of the day, my man.
Yeah.
Today's question comes from Betty from Sarasota. Betty, What you got for us?
I purchased CDs 12 months ago with higher returns than we've seen, but they're going to expire soon. What do I do?
Thank you, Betty. Great question. I think a lot of people struggle with this because I'm very indecisive with big decisions. When I'm making a big decisions, I want to do all the due diligence. I want to search everything, and it takes probably 2 or 3 extra months than it probably should for me, to be honest. And I think that's a thing with people keeping their money in cash. Will you take that for me? Give me some insight here, Dan. What do you think about that?
Cash is king, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that the old saying, cash is king? But, you have to ask yourself, why are they making decisions? Why was a CD or why is a money market a great strategy for a particular client? And I think the strategy word is so pivotal here. And, a lot of people will come in and talk about, I've got a CD I got 12 months ago. It was paying 5%. And I looked at new CDs and they're not paying as much. Yeah, interest rates are coming down and the Fed's dropping interest rates. I think the biggest thing that people have to start understanding is you have to have an objective for what is it you're doing. Is why do you have money in CDs? Well, I don't want to lose money. Well, we're losing purchasing power as interest rates come down because inflation's still there. Inflation's always going to be there. And if you really think about it, if you talk about a business model, and this is where people have to start thinking about their money is from a business standpoint. If I put my money in the bank and they're paying me less than 1% in my checking account or my savings account, or I'm getting a CD at 4.5%, what's the bank doing with that money?
They're going to get a government-backed security and making 3.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Their money and they're lending it to Rob
Yeah.
so he can spend it on his credit card and charging 28%.
Yeah.
So let me do the math here. You're going to pay me 1% in my account, but you're going to give it to Rob, and he's going to pay you 28%. I think the bank's doing okay.
Yeah, they're killing it. They know what
I think
they're
the bank's doing okay.
So for, I guess, Betty now, that just expired, right? So she has the option to what? Either 1, put that into cash, right? Or 2, she can roll that over and put it into another CD, right? I think Betty's saying right now that the percentage she got on last CD is not going to match the same percentage, what you just said, because interest rates are going down.
Correct.
What is your suggestion there? What are you doing? I know everyone's situation is different. What would you do in that situation? Are you going CDs? Are you going cash, and why?
Right. So I think you have to, again, go back to the strategy. What are you trying to achieve, Betty? What is the purpose of the money? Is it money that you're going to need in 6 months and maybe that CD makes sense? Is it something that you're not going to touch for 5 years? A lot of people choose CDs because they get caught up in what's FDIC insured. Well, treasuries are paying better than CDs right now, and they're insured by the federal government.
Yeah.
And it's not
like, it doesn't get much safer
It's not
than that.
capped at $250,000. So one of the advantages we have here at Security Financial Management also is we can actually utilize multiple banks for CDs. So it's not like I'm walking to the bank and they offer this. We can actually do what's called a CD ladder if CD is the appropriate strategy for you. And we can buy 6-month, 12-month, 18-month CDs, lock them in, and we avoid the $250 because we're using multiple banks. It's $250,000 per bank.
Oh, wow. So if you're like a very wealthy family, you can go 250, 250, 250, 250 and
Absolutely.
get 3-4% off that, say whatever they're paying, and all of a sudden that's a lot different. That's a lot more. That's a lot more wins.
Yeah, there's a lot of wins there. But again, it comes back to what is the objective, because what happens, and then you with the CD ladder, now you've got money that's becoming liquid in 6 months. And guess what happens to that 12-month CD? Another 6 months, that becomes liquid, and now you're making decisions again. So again, I think it's really taking a look at how there is no decision that we make is based on today you're locked into. Everything's fluid. We want to be able to make additional changes or decisions in 6 months when the environment changes. And then you start taking a look at how do we offset risk. A lot of people are very fearful with the economy right now. A lot of people are also trying to figure out how to pay for groceries right now. So there's a lot of changes that I think we're going to see here in 2026 that can benefit a lot of us. And also, what are the roadblocks? What are the problems we're going to face?
I think it's interesting that like everyone's initial thought right? When they're making a big decision is to pause, stop. You learn this as a kid, right? You get angry, like take 10 breaths, think about it, go take a walk and come back and we'll talk again, right? I think that's where our human nature comes in to just be like, let's just put this in cash and we'll think about it. But then how often do you go back and think about it and then make a play?
Out of sight, out of mind,
Out of
because
sight, out of
today's emergency is tomorrow's.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Take care of today's issues today. Tomorrow's going to have different issues.
Yeah. I'm going to have another issue there that's got my mind tied up into it. But yeah, I think there's, a lot of people are coming through this right now is, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Do I put it into the bank account? Again, I think that there can be strategies that we can help them put together that meets their objectives. But again, I think it all comes back to the education. What is your objective for the money?
Interesting. You just mentioned inflation, not really talked about enough, I think, in the wealth accumulation business. What would you say to people that are sitting on cash or scared and that's their go-to move?
Yeah. And a lot of people think that sitting on cash, my money's safe.
Yeah.
It's safe there. I can see it. It's an intangible asset, right? I can look at my bank account and see that $100,000 is still $100,000. But then when we start talking about inflation, it's a moving target. We can sit here and say today on, in January of 2026 that inflation's here. And the reality is it can be higher or lower in 1 month, right? But here's the reality. I try to use this particular story is, how much is a $5 bill worth?
How long you been holding it?
No, it's worth $5. It's not a trick question. It's worth $5. But really, how much was it worth 5 years ago? Again, not a trick question. It was worth $5, and it's going to be worth $5 5 years from now. But what can we buy with $5? How many gallons of milk can I buy today with a $5 bill? And the answer is pretty much one.
1.5, maybe.
How many could I buy 5 years ago?
5.
How many do you think you can buy in 5 years?
Half.
Right.
Yeah.
So our money sitting in the bank is safe, but is it? Because we're losing purchasing power. Now we plan right now, currently we're planning on inflation. And again, we take the law of averages on 3.5% a year. 5 years ago, we were using 2 to 2.5%. So we had to make adjustments in our financial plans with our clients to accommodate inflation. And again, it's not inflation today. It's historically how we see inflation playing out. How do we apply that to a financial plan for a client who's sitting there going, I want to retire, or I'm retired, I want to make sure I don't outlive my money. And, inflation is always going to be a word. Even talking about interest rates, we were talking about earlier, I don't think we're going to see 2% again in interest rates.
Yeah,
I don't think it's healthy. We
can't afford a house.
We can't afford a house. And then it's like, well, interest rates are going down. Why aren't home interest rates going down?
Yeah.
Because there's two different factors of how they come up with that. Now they're looking at treasuries that really affect, mortgages, which again are still pretty high because of inflationary concerns. The Fed right now, and you're hearing a lot about the Fed and how the current administration is approaching the Fed and wanting to lower interest rates. But the reality is we're still in a very fragile state. We are coming out of it, and good things are on the horizon, but there's got to be a sense of fiscal responsibility. And I think that's where the imbalance is when you turn on the TV and hear all this stuff.
I liked what you said earlier about like people want to stay safe. Like what's safer than a government-backed security?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in my mind, when I think of that kind of stuff, it's like, all right, I'm either going to put money in the market. If I'm scared of the market, like disappearing, I'm going to bet that doesn't happen, because you know what? It has never happened. And if that happens, everyone here is screwed, and everyone's going to be living on the street, and the government's in America's not going to be a thing anymore.
Right.
So it's like, your mind wanders and it lets it go and goes worst case scenario every single time. But like, you still got to stand 10 toes down and realize the reality of the life we live.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everything's, and this is why it's such an important criteria for clients is to have that relationship with their advisor where they can get on the phone. They're not calling an 800 number. They're calling the person that they've entrusted themselves and their families and their accumulation of all the hard work they put in over the years, is to be able to get on the phone and have that conversation. Is, what do I do? I just heard this on the news. My clients call me, hey, I heard this on the news last night. Okay, well, let's put that perspective. Because again, we want everybody to be on the same page. We want our clients to be on the same page with us. We want to be on the same page as our clients, because at the end of the day, we're in the service industry. We are here to serve our clients in their best interests.
Beautiful. Well, I hope that helps, Betty. If you want to talk to Dan or any of our senior advisors here at Security Financial Management, we're going to leave a link in the description for you. And remember, folks, the secret to wealth is not what you earn, it's what you keep. Happy days, everybody.
This podcast is for entertainment and educational purposes only and is not intended as personal financial advice. Before making any financial decision, please do your own research and consult a financial advisor as needed.